Hey, I'm Munira, a consultant by profession, but a storyteller at heart. This is Munira's Musings, a place to talk about real stories, the thoughts we carry, the questions we ask, and the moments that have shaped who we are. If you're looking for honest conversations, small sparks, insight, inspiration, and ideas, then you're in the right place. Let's talk, let's grow, let's begin.
But you could leave your job.
Then working with you allows
I wanted to make movies.
This has been awesome. Greetings from Chicagoland. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Munira's Musings, where stories become strategy and conversations turn into clarity. My guest today is Russell Nohelty, all the way from Los Angeles, California. And I would like for you to welcome him. And my name is Munira Zahabi, and I help entrepreneurs, authors, and coaches give their business a voice. Not a generic one, but a voice that's clear, confident, and impossible to ignore. Each week, I sit down with leaders, builders, visionaries who are doing the work, navigating the challenges, refining their messages, and stepping boldly into their expertise. And together, we unpack not only what they do, but how they think and how they communicate and how they show up. Because when you learn to articulate your story, your mission, and your values, you don't only grow it and grow a business, you build your influence. So grab a notebook, let's lean in and give your business a voice. So Russell, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I've been doing creative entrepreneurship type stuff for about 20 years. I started my own out of college. I worked on Capitol Hill, and then since then I've mainly worked for myself. I've been a photographer and a director of photography. I've directed TV shows and web series. But mainly I've been a publisher for the past 10, 15 years with comics and novels, and I've done all of these. These are most of my books that aren't anthologies that I've been in with other people. And about 6 years ago, I started a business with a co-founder, helping writers build their business. And then earlier this year, I started a company called Capitalist to help all kind of chaos-brained creators find business clarity. And mainly I work with authors, but I work with all sorts of creators to try and help them optimize for joy and make money doing it.
Okay, so you said you've been working in your own business for a while, but what started the business? What was the first idea, and what do you have that idea?
Very first one. So I really wanted to, as a kid, make movies. And so I wanted to direct movies, and my first business was we started a production company to make movies. And I just assumed after when you say you're going to do something, you just do it. And I just did the thing that I wanted to do in high school, which was like make movies. And then that kind of showed me that mainly the people that make money doing creative work are doing service-based work, not product-based work. They're not selling books. They're like teaching other people to make books or direct or shoot a movie for them or help them fulfill their vision. So just started growing like that. But the very first one was I wanted to make movies.
So you said you directed TV shows. Which one have you been on?
So they were all really small shows back when it was mostly TV pilots. So I did direct a web series called Connections, which you can find on YouTube, and several shorts. But I directed this reality show called Sabres and Roses, which I don't think ever got picked up. I directed a web series called Save Point. The problem with TV and with making movies is it's historically been reliant on networks to pick them up, not like on us distributing themselves. So what you would do is you would do a lot of work to make something, and then no one would buy it. And then you'd be like, oh, great, a year of my life just gone away, which is why I started doing books, because books is like no one can stop you from making a book. You don't need $1 million to make a book. You can make a book yourself and then you put it out yourself. And now it's come to the point that you can make movies pretty much by yourself. But 25 years ago, that wasn't the case.
Okay, I like that. Okay, so and I know that his networks and everything is a nuance, but we are talking about you, right? So
Right.
let's talk about how you then started writing books. Which one was your very first?
My first book was called, the first one that fully went through production was called Ichabod Jones' Monster Hunter. We ended up doing 4 volumes. It's about a psychopath that escapes a mental asylum and becomes a monster hunter. And that was my first, it was a comic book. Then my first book was called Gumshoes, The Case of Madison's Father, which is a big departure from that. It's a middle grade mystery novel.
Nice. Okay. And these books you publish, you have a publishing company. So do you go through publishers and publishing company, or do you publish on Kindle?
I've done both. I've worked with about 50 publishers in my career. No, actually, it's more than 50 now, but I've done both. Mainly, I'm known as for self-publishing or through my company, Wannabe Press, but I do a lot of, as I became a more popular author, I did more and more contract work for other publishers. So I've done both, never big 5 publishers in New York, but lots and lots of indies I've worked with. And then I've published 80 books or so in my own company.
Okay, so there's a lot of people out there who want to write a book. So let's talk to them, because how do you get and start writing a book? Do you just take an idea and just start writing? I mean, how do you do it?
God, so I write about a breadth of a bunch of different kind of books. If you talk mostly I'm going to assume that since this is an entrepreneurial podcast, most of the people that you're going to talk to are business owners. And so in general, business owners either have been blogging over the course of their career or doing Facebook posts or something, but most of them have a methodology for what they're doing. And so the easiest one, what we teach you how to do in Capitalist, is you define an archetyping system from whatever you have taught in your career, whatever your process is. It usually comes down to 3 to 5 different ways that your customers function in order to have success. So for my customers, we have a couple of different archetyping systems, but the main one is called Scale Paths. And it's the 5 different ways in which you grow your business. And so you start by defining what that archetyping system is. And usually it's 3 to 5 chapters, one for each. One is actually, it's 6. It's 1 to introduce the archetyping system. Actually, it's 7 because it's like an introduction to the entire book. Then you introduce the system. Then you give a chapter on each part of the system. And then after that, there's usually 4 to 6 steps that you need to do to implement your system. So for us, we have something called a happy compass, which is the 4 main ways that you're blocked. But usually if you look at Tim Ferriss had the 4-hour work week, and he broke down the 4-hour work week into 4 steps. And so each chapter was basically a step in that system. So you have the system, and then you have which is how you actually build the product, like the thing that you do. And then you have the archetyping system, which are the types of ways in which you can have success doing this thing. And I think it's really important that you have both of these things for a couple of reasons. The archetyping system allows you so a book is really a vehicle by which you get new customers. And so what you want is someone to come into your consulting calls or whatever they're doing, having taken a quiz that says, I am this kind of person. Great. I am in ours, it helps if it has an acronym. So SCALE is spotlighters, collaborators, arbiters, launchers, and evangelists. And if you're an evangelist or a collaborator, you're almost guaranteed that you're going to be a customer of mine. If you're an evangelist, almost assuredly you're going to become a customer of mine. If you're an arbiter, you're not going to really work. You're going to be able to do what I do. Like, you're going to want to do it on your own because that's just like the way that it goes. Like, it helps you identify and be like, oh, almost every consulting call I have, someone is either a evangelist or a collaborator. So once you have that, you can say, oh, great. So like that means these are the things that are important to you. And these are the struggles that you're having. So like you start being able to say, okay, now we can have a conversation about where you're going to struggle and thrive in my system. So my system is about building your winning axis. And like, it's all about like how to take your internal golden thread and externalize it so it becomes sales. And taking all of the chaos of your career and breaking it down into one line in which only you win. So it's okay, great. Some parts of that are going to be harder for an evangelist than a collaborator, than a spotlighter, and what the strategies that are going to resonate with them are going to change. But the system is the same. Regardless of how you come into my work, like the system is 7 steps in which you build your winning axis. And then a book is very easily, what is the archetyping system? Before, why is it important? And then what is the system that you are going to demonstrate?
Okay, I like that. Now you mentioned Tim Ferriss, and he said he wrote one book, and I don't know if he's written more, but that was his one calling card that worked for him. Now you've written 80 books. Does everybody have to have 80 books, or one is enough?
It depends on how you want to. So if you're a fiction author, then you're going to want to develop what's called a signature series. And a signature series is about 10 bucks, 1 million words that you can run ads to or sell. So if a single book has very little price elasticity, you probably are going to sell it for somewhere between $5 and $10. Now, if you have a workbook, you can sell it for more than that. But like in general, it's going to be the lowest rung in your value ladder. So if you want to make money just on books, you need to have a bunch of books. The other reason why you want books is called shelf space. So when someone shelves your books, they will probably have one book of every one in your series. So if you go to a Barnes and Noble and you have this much shelf space, it just brings the eye and makes you more valuable on a shelf. Now, it also means if someone buys book 4, wow, now that bookstore has to rebuy book 4. But most people are not going to make a living just on their books. So for an entrepreneur, you're probably going to want the book to be a calling card for the rest of your business. And people always say, why do you need a book at all? And to which I say, Amazon is the second biggest search engine in the world. And if you do not have a book, you are irrelevant and not being seen by that entire ecosystem. If you are selling a high ticket offer or a speech or something like that, then you probably only need one book. But if you are trying to productize the actual book itself, then you're going to want to have a series of books. In order to run ads to something, you need to have at least 5 books in a series to break even. Like when you have 10 books, you break even and then you start making a profit and it becomes scalable. But until then, you don't. So it really depends on what you want out of it. You should at least have one book though.
I like it. Now, in the beginning, you said that you want people to make chaotic people happy.
Okay, so most people want to do a ton of stuff in their business. Very few people have the focus to talk about one topic over and over again forever or in one format. So what you end up finding is someone who's got a course on baking and a book on potatoes and then a video series on goat herding and they just do a bunch of different stuff. They have a podcast. We tend to be taught how to do business by people who are very good at keeping focused on one thing forever, and that just is boring for most people. My wife loves doing one thing forever, and that is fun for her. It is not fun for me. All of these books are like very different. That said, you still need to have a way to get people to join your movement. So by movement, I don't mean like a political movement, but to join, to believe, to move into where your future is. And in order to get those people, you need a singular story. And so what your winning access does is it takes your internal, what you believe in, what all of these things mean, and externalizes it into a story that makes sense so that somebody can buy into and be like, oh, okay, what I want to be is on this mission. I want this future. I believe in this thing. So for 11 years, what my nonfiction business has been about is taking control of your creative career. And no matter what I have done, it's about taking control of your creative career. And everything leads back to you taking control of your destiny in both my fiction and nonfiction. And so when I externalize that through my winning axis, then people can buy into the vision without necessarily having to buy into any one product. And they see all of the things. So that's part one. Part two is that when you do all of these chaotic things, you let life happen to you. You're like, oh, I got to be on TikTok. I got to be on this. I got to make a podcast. I got to do on this. But when you have that external and internal axis, suddenly you're like, oh, I can see how doing this brings back into my winning axis. I see how going to TikTok and doing this plays into this thing. And it turns out one of the best ways to turn something you hate into something you like is to be able to tie it into your overall mission. So if you can say, I hate TikTok, but it brings people back to this mission, then you are more likely to be able to say, now I at least understand the value of TikTok, as opposed to what generally happens, which is you just go and you chaos a bunch of times over here and over here and over here. And you're like, I don't know what any of these do. I've just wasted 6 months of my life doing all these things. But suddenly, if they all can be packaged to make sense in one thing. And what is interesting is I've been doing this work a long time. I've never met somebody who did not have a winning axis, even if their work is completely chaotic and all over the place. It's just they've never actually sat down and spent the time to think about it.
Okay, so then working with you allows them to find that alignment if they did not want to work with you. What is the one or two things they have to do to find that out?
I will just give you the whole formula. Full joy loop is about finding what you want. So you cannot find the winning axis until you unearth what you actually want. We call that attunement. Think about like having a radio dial on the side of your head, and as you tune it, you can hear different things. So what happens is all around us we see opportunities we hate because we are being taught what to want by other people instead of following what we want. If we tune the dial, it's like going from seeing country to hearing rap to hearing rock to hearing classical. Like it completely changes everything around you because the truth is that opportunities are happening everywhere, like all around you. They're like falling like manna from heaven, but like you can't see it because you're tuned to the wrong frequency. So you got to be tuned to the right frequency. Then you have to stop undercutting yourself, which is like to take no out of your vocabulary. The average person says no 5 to 10 times in the first bit of time we talk. And probably the first 5 minutes of the conversation, I hear, I can't, I won't, that isn't, that will never work. It's not, it's working because I'm stupid, I'm dumb. Like all of those things are just you undercutting yourself. And you will never get anywhere if you undercut yourself. You like literally cannot move forward if like you undercut yourself. The rest of the world will try and undercut you, but like we play a game in Capitalist called Is It True Though? So like you will tell me something and I'll be like, okay, is that true? State your evidence. And by evidence, I mean, what can you see, hear, taste, touch, or see that proves your case out? And usually it's, oh, my uncle started a pizza shop. Great, that doesn't tell me anything. Oh, this person failed. I can't do this because my boss sucks. Okay, but you could leave your job. You could set different conditions for your job. None of these things are no, they just are like, but when you say you can't do, it's now you're like, okay, but what would it take for you to do? Could you go half-time at your job? Could you reinvent your job? Could you get a different boss? Could you move departments? I don't know if any of those things will work, but the minute that you stop saying it won't work until this changes, suddenly you have a list of things that you can actually change, as opposed to just saying a blocker. So then we talked about the path of least friction a little bit with the scale path. It's like removing friction in your life so that you can actually get to the opportunities without unnecessary effort. And then the winning axis is this part. So you can't even, this is the fourth bit of the entire piece, because we have to spend a lot of time unearthing all of it. And then the actual axis is, where is your customer? What does your customer want? What is their win condition? Where are they now? What are the 3 to 5 blocks that you have unearthed? We already talked about this, that they can only get through you. What are the objections that they're going to face that you know they're going to do, so you can pre-handle them? And who are the 10 people in your industry that can help you get to where you want to go, who are doing similar things, but that you can slot into an ecosystem and be like an additive instead of competitive edge to them. Once you have that, you have the makings of a winning axis. The problem is no one knows what they want. No one knows what their customer wants. It's very hard for them to see, with the amount of clarity that somebody like a coach does, what their actual unique skills are. But it turns out that anyone who's not you is better at figuring out what your special skills are than you. So if you actually know what you want, which takes forever in coaching, but like if you know what you want, then it's a lot easier to know what your customers want from you. And then you can align around that axis, especially if you've already done work. Does that make sense?
I love that. And you're right. You're so right that most people don't know what they want. Asking, unearthing this and figuring out your axis. How long? What is the longest and the shortest you've done work with people?
I mean, so I have an accelerator program that's 4 weeks. Two sessions a week. It's a small group session that I do. We currently are enrolling for August, and then we're also enrolling for October. And so by the end of those 4 weeks, you will have the axis. And most of the work in that is what do you actually want, and then envisioning it. So the most important thing that you can do, the singular most important thing, is make the future that you envision for your customers so tangible that they envision it in their brain. Because once someone envisions what the future once that you hold it in your hand, people really don't want to take it away from you. They really don't want it taken away. So but in order to know the future that they want, you have to know the future that you want.
Right, that is the most important aspect. This has been awesome, Mr. Russell. Tell me where to find you. How do people find you?
It's just capitalist.com. It's like capitalist, but with an H.
Oh, okay. Capitalist with an H. Okay. And is it just your website, or is there other modes of finding?
I have a podcast called Capitalist, but I'm pretty much not on social media. So when people tell me they hate social media and they don't want to grow with social media, I'm like, great, me either. That's because I don't do that. So I do have some profiles sometimes, and I chaotically post there. But in general, if you want to see all my teachings, Capitalist is the place to see it, either the podcast or the blog.
All right. Thank you so much. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a very interesting conversation. We'll bring you back. I want to know more about the writing stuff. But unfortunately, due to time, that's a wrap for today's episode of Munira's Musings. If this conversation resonated with you, don't let it just stay as an inspiration. Turn it into an implementation. Refine your message and start speaking about what you do with clarity and conviction. If you're ready to continue learning about how to give your business a voice, make sure you subscribe and tap the bell icon so you're notified each time a new episode drops. And remember, your story matters, your expertise matters, and your voice matters. Until next time, keep showing up, keep refining your messages, and keep building a business that sounds just like you. I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks, everybody. Have a